It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and welcome to 1995. We're looking at the first weekend of 1995, January 6, 1995. This is a big year for me because I was 6 years old. Actually, I turned 6 4 days after this particular weekend, but this was also the year that I first discovered movie theaters. Like, I went to my first movie in a theater. That's my earliest movie memory, and we'll get to that movie eventually because it has an interesting story behind it. But I won't say what it is now. I'll wait until we get to that movie. But let's look at the two movies that came out this weekend, and usually this is the dumping ground of January, so we shouldn't be surprised that we don't have any good movies to start off with. We'll start off with this movie here, at least. Phil Hartman and Sinbad, starring in the comedy House Guest. I mean, the story behind the making of House Guest actually goes back 2 years prior to this. In February of '93, Sinbad, who actually signed a deal with Disney to not only do this movie but also a TV show, which was the Sinbad Show, which was on Fox for I think about a year. I think it actually may have been a full year before they canceled it. They put it on after The Simpsons on Thursday night, and then it just never really caught on. They canceled it after one season, and then this movie was part of a pay-or-play deal for him, and took 2 years to finally make this movie. And you would think in 2 years that they could have made something funny. They could have been something. It could have been something more interesting here, but yeah, this movie really isn't all that good. And you got Sinbad and you got Phil Hartman, two very, very funny comedians who could work off each other very well in a good movie. But here, this thing just gets too stupid too quickly. It wears out its welcome almost immediately. Like, you can't believe that Phil Hartman, a guy like him, can't figure out that this guy clearly is not who he thinks he is. The whole thing, as you see in the trailer, is about this guy who, like, he was raised in, is about this guy who, this guy played by Phil Hartman, who waits for this guy at the airport, who is his longtime childhood friend, who knows nothing about him, can't figure out who he really is because it's been so long. Like, he doesn't have any type of pictures. You can't look at a yearbook and figure out who this guy is. And then this thing happens. It's just like, it gets really, really ridiculous pretty quickly. And like, even not even the smartest person could tell that you need to look into your information first before you actually just think that this guy that just randomly shows up, this big black guy, is your old friend from your childhood years. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could have made the argument that, yeah, that's exactly who this is, but we never see him in this movie. I mean, no, that's a lie. We actually do see him later on, and it's Ron Glass. Like, Ron Glass from Barney Miller. He was Susie's dad on the Rugrats, and Ron Glass and Sinbad are clearly two different types of people. What am I even saying? They're two different people, clearly. But not to Phil Hartman in this. Like, it's just a bad script altogether. Like, there could have been maybe a good hook to it if they actually took a chance with it, then actually did something very funny. But it's a typical fish out of water story. It's basically by the book. You can pretty much tell everything that's going to happen. You can pretty much tell everything that's going to take place. It's just not funny whatsoever. It's just a really lackluster film. And you got Sinbad and Phil Hartman. You got two really funny comedians, and you think you could put a good movie together with the both of them in it, but this just wasn't it. This was clearly made by somebody who had a script that was obviously terrible, and they said, let's put some names to it, and maybe they can make it funny. And maybe with a good director, maybe, but here, not so much. House Guest is a pretty mediocre film, and a perfect example of what the dumping ground of January can really be. Like, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Sometimes you can get a little gem here and there, but other times, not so much. This is the definition of a dumpster film in January, and it definitely shows in House Guest. So, with that said, let's move on to this next movie, which is Fast Trip Long Drop. That's not a good sign if I have to go to Facebook to find any type of clips for this movie, because there is literally nothing on YouTube on it. It doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. I actually had to go to the Google to find it, and this is pretty much all I know about it. It's a documentary. It's a biography about this gay Jewish man who speaks out about living with and dying from AIDS. He also discusses how being gay has affected his identity as a Jew and his relationship with his parents. And that's literally all I got for you, because I couldn't find any other thing about this movie except on IMDb and through a Facebook video I found. But was a documentary that came out on this weekend. I literally know nothing else about it. Obviously, I can't really comment too much more on it because I haven't seen it, but I mean, there's potential there. I mean, judging by the little clip I saw in the synopsis, there is potential there for something interesting, but there's not really that much to go off on. I don't even know if this actually has a physical release anywhere, and I think you have to really, like, dig deep online or go somewhere to find a copy of this somewhere, but I don't know. It's not something I'd rush out to see right away, but I don't know. Maybe it could have some potential to it, but other than that, I really don't have anything more to add to it because I don't really know too much about it. Fast Trip, Long Drop is the name of the film. And so on that note, we're just going to wrap up this edition of Time About the Movies. We'll have more movies on the next episode, including John Singleton's latest film, Higher Learning, the first of the two Tales from the Crypt movies, Demon Knight. We also have Far From Home, The Adventures of Yellow Dog with Jesse Bradford, and also Brother Minister, The Assassination of Malcolm X. Those are the 4 movies that we'll look at next time around. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching, I'll see you next time, and until then, as always, take care.